All right, guys, welcome to Trail Talk. We are so glad you could join us today. I'm Edie. This is my special guest, Kristi King. She's joining us from the Stevens County. Is it the Genealogical Society or the Genealogy Library?
Genealogy Library.
Okay, so there's also a Genealogical Society that supports the library, and we'll be getting to that soon. But anyway, welcome to Trail Talk. We are here in our classroom studio at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. I adjusted my mask a few minutes ago and I did it the wrong way and I'm fogging up now, Kristi. You know how that goes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we are going to get to the root of things today. Did you get to my pun there?
Yeah.
The little...
That was a good pun.
It's a good one. Kristi liked it. All right. I got a new friend here, Kristi. Thank you. Okay. So Kristi, you are, what would your title be?
I'm the branch director.
The branch
Genealogy
director.
Library.
Okay. Of the Genealogy Library. And what's the location of the library?
It's on 301 North 8th. For people who were born and raised in Duncan, it is the original library.
The original Duncan Public Library. And isn't it like catty corner from the Presbyterian Church over there?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Like across the street from the old middle school and
Yes.
that whole
Yes.
area of town.
Right
So, but listen, if you guys haven't driven by there in a while, the updates to the outside of the building are just fabulous. I mean, it looks like it's just someone's breathed new life into that building.
They have.
It's just beautiful. And it's such a great, I think, it makes me want to just stop and go look at it, go inside or something. So, so you're the branch director, and how long have you been serving?
2.5 years.
Okay. And you were mentioning earlier that Jan Cole
Yes.
hired you. Jan, well, she's retired now,
Yes.
but she was the director of the Duncan Public
Yes.
Library, right?
Yes.
And so how did that happen that Jan would be hiring you for the Genealogy Library?
Well, I was a patron of the Duncan Public Library and I love libraries, and I was wanting something to do, and it just happened that one of the people that works there was a good friend of mine. And she said, look, there is an opening at the Genealogy Library. They're hiring somebody for part-time to work at the Genealogy Library. And I have 2 history degrees. And I said, I've done genealogy and I did it for my mother, but I hadn't done it in a while or anything. And so I just went and applied, and Jan called me in for an interview, and there it went.
Very nice. And so Jan was doing that because the Duncan Public Library had
just taken over
Okay.
the Genealogy Library in conjunction with the Genealogical Society. The Genealogical Society is the one that composed the collection itself. They put the collection together, and they started in 1983, and they're the ones responsible for everything that's in there as far as the collection.
Okay, so when you refer to the collection, you're talking about a collection of sources?
Yes,
Or
sources.
resources
Yes.
or at the Genealogy
Yes.
Library? So tell us, what are those? What are those?
Okay,
exactly?
we have books, we have microfilm, we have phone books. Okay,
Oh.
that are very valuable. Yearbooks.
Mhm.
And we have them from all through the United States. We have a section set up for the United States, and then the biggest section, of course, is locally. I have most of Duncan's high school yearbooks. I got a lot of OU, OSU, still all of their yearbooks. Each county in Oklahoma is set up, and we have information for almost every county in Oklahoma. Some are
Wow.
a little more sparse than others. Stevens County, of course, has the most.
Mhm.
I've got yearbooks from Marlowe. I've got, let's see, obituaries. We have obituaries pulled out. We have the Duncan Banner, the Comanche News, Duncan Eagle, Marlowe Review, all on microfilm.
Oh,
So, and
wow.
microfilm
Dating
reading.
back how far?
1893.
1893. Wow. That is fabulous. I can't, wow, that is so cool. So, I mean, yearbooks, phone books, are most of these things like the actual books?
Yes. Yes, we have
So-
actual books.
So how big is the library? Like, is it a very large?
No, it's not very large,
It doesn't seem like it's a very big building.
but the books don't take up that, I mean,
Okay.
it's got enough room right now.
Uh-huh.
We have to weed out every once in a while. And we are digitizing. I mean, the microfilm doesn't take up a lot of room.
Right, yeah, that's
Um,
true.
And the one side that we have that's dedicated to the United States,
Mhm.
that goes by counties within each state. And some states are more sparse than others, like Texas is a huge area.
Mhm.
Tennessee has quite a few. It depends on what was donated, what they collected over the years,
Mhm.
and who did the work.
That's
So-
what I was just thinking about that. So, people would just give
Yes,
these things to the Genealogical
Yes.
Society
Yes.
because it's been active since 1983. Is that
Yes.
what you said? So they've been able to get their hands on any
quite a
kind
bit.
of, very interesting. So, if, let's say, I'm starting at square one.
Okay.
Take me through like the initial steps of what I would need to do to find out the genealogical, I guess, history of my family. And I'll just say of my dad. I'll pick one
Okay.
because I'm sure
Yeah.
it's going to be twice as much
It's
or
gonna
whatever.
get more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if I was going to follow my dad's
I need
family.
to know, if I was gonna help you with this, we need to know first, I'd get a chart out. Okay, and you can make a chart or you can run a chart off.
Okay.
We have those. They're just blank pieces of paper. It's very easy. If you were gonna do that, I'd want to know his name, when he was born, if he's still living, where he was born. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and then as much information as you can possibly give me on his parents and where they were born and when they were born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we do until you could not give me any more information.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
then we'd hit a wall,
Right.
because you always hit a wall.
Right.
And depending on what that wall is when I'd start going through the computer and going to Ancestry, because we have 3 computers dedicated on the internet that you can use, and you can use ancestry.com
Okay.
and go online there, or you can use Family Search or MyHeritage. We have the DOS rolls that you can go on the DOS rolls and use that also
Mhm.
for your Indian heritage. Oklahoma to Explore for vital statistics on whether there's a birth or a death certificate. Anyway, those are all dedicated to the internet. So once I got the information, or we had the information and you were doing this,
Uh-huh.
you start looking up there. Now, you can look at that way, or what we could knock off right off the bat is go over to the section of where your father was from, where he was born, what county, what state. If he wasn't born in Oklahoma, let's say he was born in Kentucky. Let's say he was born in, Callaway County, Kentucky.
Okay.
Okay. And we'd go over to the Kentucky section and look and see if we have any books on Callaway County and what we had. Now, we have quite a few things from Kentucky. We have books, we have genealogy society letters that they put together, which helps, that gives names. And start looking in the indexes and see what names you come up with in that county and see if he's mentioned. That's the way to do it too.
Very
And
interesting. So all of those resources you were mentioning on the internet,
Mhm.
Do you have to join or pay to use those?
Yes, but at the library, they're free.
So if
Okay.
you come to the library, genealogy library,
They're free,
they're free to use.
but not just the genealogy library. If you go belong to the Duncan Public Library and you have a library card, you can use them for free there.
Oh,
You can
very
use them free
nice.
at
Wow.
home with your library card.
You could use it at home for free, but
With your library card.
wow, now that's really good information.
Yes.
Very good information.
People don't
Okay.
realize that.
Yeah, because I mean, I've talked to someone before and they said, well, you know, in the past, I've joined 1 month for
Yeah.
free and just like committed as much time as I could to
Yeah.
that 1 month of doing all this research. So to know that this would be accessible to
Yes.
you anytime,
Yes.
that's awesome. Okay, so so if we find something then in the information in Kentucky, we're still
Right.
looking for my dad. So then what do we do next?
We follow that as far as we can. And now you will run into brick walls,
Uh-huh.
okay? And you follow it as far as you can. Now, we found something for him. We want to back it up too. So that the best way right now and the easiest way with genealogy is to use the computers. That's the fastest way. That's the most accurate way. That's where you're going to find the most information. And plus, travel is expensive. Going to genealogy used to be a rich man's hobby. It is no longer the case.
Uh-huh.
So now you don't have to travel everywhere. You can use the computer and pull up records, and more records are being downloaded. And that's what I meant about digitizing a while ago. They're digitizing all these records and they're downloading them to the internet, and they're being made available. And they're not costing. The sites aren't costing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's other genealogy libraries throughout the country. The Allen Public Library is a big one. Denver has a big one. The National Archives is another resource that is very good to use.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is all online that you can use.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, it's free at the library with your library card.
And so is information that has been digitized at our library available to people anywhere around the United States? They can get in there and use it?
We don't have a lot that we've digitized, but yes.
Oh, okay.
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 The newspapers are available through a site, but not all of it. It's through the Oklahoma Historical Society, the Duncan Public Banner and everything.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
I do have those on microfilm, so
Uh-huh.
that's the way they can do that.
Do you ever get calls from people from somewhere else, some other
Yes.
state, looking for some information?
Sure, I
Is
get-
that one of your responsibilities?
That's what I do. I have calls from, let's see, I had a lady call me actually from Colorado Monday. I had a forensic genealogist call me last year wanting to do she was wanting an obituary because she was doing land records. I do have people doing land records searches, and they look for obituaries,
Uh-huh.
and that's what they need me for. And they can't get a hold of obituaries, and that's what they're wanting me to look for.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I've had people come from Tennessee, California, Arizona to the library because they had family that was born here, and over the years, of course, families moved and everything. So
Wow.
it's a big deal.
It sounds like such an interesting job. I would think you'd meet a lot of people
Yes.
and, just probably the success of connecting someone with that next bit of information to take them that next
It makes you,
bit down the road.
it's very exciting.
Oh, wow. I bet. I'm sure it's disappointing when the brick walls come up, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected. Record keeping was not well done for,
They got destroyed.
right.
And that's disheartening to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Records get destroyed, and they have. And sometimes they just didn't keep records
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And then also the most important thing, you asked me how to start this, is ask your family members. Talk to them, make them tell you these stories, because it's telling these stories that allows you to, some point in your life, do the work.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what's important, because some people don't realize they want to do it when they're younger, and it's not until they're older that they want to do it.
Yeah,
And then it's too late
yeah.
because they haven't asked.
The people are gone
Right.
by then. Yeah, that's very true. I can think of a number of times that I would listen to my great grandmother tell me stories, but I was just listening to the story. I wasn't thinking of the significance of where she was when that happened, or about what year it was, when it happened, things like that. I was just, because I was young,
Right.
I had just graduated high school when she died. And so I just didn't think about asking her for more details. And, I wish I had done that. So I think what you're saying is, it's very true. And, something we should be paying a lot more attention to,
Yeah.
Honestly. And especially, I mean, more generations ahead of us, of course, but the record keeping, I'm going to guess probably I'm thinking probably before 1920 or so, it was a lot sketchier. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking
was.
about, but for, I don't know, maybe the 20s or so,
It was.
so that was just a couple of generations ago, that your great grandfather might have been born at home,
That's the problem.
and there's no birth certificate, and so those kinds of things, that was not that long ago.
Right.
But what's going to be like from here and out is very accessible. It's going to be very well recorded. So
that's what we hope.
right. That is true. That is true. So I just think your job sounds like a really great thing to do. Are you still part-time?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're there, are those the hours that the library is open?
Yes.
And so what are those?
9 to 1 on Monday and Tuesday, and 9 to 2 on Wednesday and Thursday. And that's been because of the pandemic. I was open on Saturday before the pandemic. And but Saturday was my biggest day, and I can't social distance in that library.
Okay.
Because of the machines, the way the machines are set up. I hope to be opening soon again on Saturdays.
Very nice.
So
very nice.
I'll probably close on Thursdays. It's my slowest day, but
and then switch to being open on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's what I was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it was our busiest day, but people were using machines, and I can't have everybody right next to each other using the same machine.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's something to look forward to, guys.
Thank you.
For us to be able to not have to be so socially distanced, and you could go back into the genealogy library on a Saturday. So the library offers informational meetings. Is that for members of the society? Is it for anybody? So tell us about these. I believe you called it a brown bag.
Well, we started the brown bag lunches on the first Wednesday of every month. I usually pick the topics. Amy Riker and Jan Cole and Misty Broder, this year the four of us got together and we set up a whole year's worth of topics and what we're going to do. And one of us will lead it or discuss it. We were going to try and have a speaker for next month, but that fell through. And each one is a different topic, and it'll be a genealogy topic. It'll be something that either has caused questions or how to help with just anything.
So for example, you said last month was about, you called it Texas immigration.
Yes.
And so that's talking about the influx of people moving from Texas into Oklahoma through the years, I guess.
Oklahoma has an interesting immigration route for its citizens. And Texas was one of the prominent routes. There's also through Tennessee down to Missouri, and that's another route. That was a big route. But up from Texas was one big route. So that was what we were talking about. And the people that came, everybody had family that has come to Oklahoma from Texas.
Very interesting.
So,
I bet that was a real, and
Yeah.
coincidentally, I mean, I didn't realize this when I asked you to come on, but the Chisholm Trail,
yes,
that would have would that have brought some people
yes.
up? So the cattle drives had something to do with that. They originated in South Texas and
Right.
came north across Oklahoma and ended up in Kansas, but I can see where they would have.
They all
people would
came, it was for land
Uh-huh,
or running away from something,
right.
but yeah,
Right.
the different ways they came. So.
That's very interesting. And then you said, so another example, just to show kind of the variety of topics, next month is about preserving
Your
or
genealogy,
your genealogy.
yes, your genealogy archives.
Okay,
It's, in the first place, it's preservation month anyway, so we wanted to do something for that.
right.
And so I'm going to be bringing up, we had an assessment done at our library. It'll be, well, it's been 2 years now, by an archivist. And she came and told us what we needed to do to make sure that we were preserving all these materials correctly, what we needed to do to make sure that the library was adequate for this. And so that's what I'm going to tell people on how to do it and what they need to do and help them with that.
So do you guys have like I mean, this isn't like a thing everywhere, but here in Oklahoma, like a tornado plan? Because, I mean, that's that's a lot of.
Yeah, the tornado plan for that would be hope. I'm sorry, that sounds really bad, but there really isn't anything big that I can do with all of that.
Because so much of yours is an actual physical thing that you would have to,
Yeah.
I can see
Because,
that.
but what I'm trying to do is help people preserve theirs
Mhm.
so that it lessens up the paper that you have your information on.
Right,
And that you can just pick it up and take it with you.
yes,
Or
yes.
give it to somebody, make it as easily accessible for somebody else as possible.
As possible.
That's what you're trying to do.
Very good. Well, that sounds like a very interesting topic. So that would be the first Wednesday,
It'll be April 7th
April 7th
at noon.
at noon.
And you can bring your drinks or your food and sit there, and we do social distance.
Mhm.
I mean, we've had only about 6 or 7 people this last few months,
Mhm.
which is nice because it keeps it small and everything.
Right.
And that's great. And we keep it social distance.
And is it kind of a question and answer?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
I'd rather they talk. It's theirs. I choose the subject, they talk about it,
Right,
but I wind up doing a lot of talking.
right. Well, the information's got to come
Yeah.
from somewhere, and then that would.
And I
plus
always
people
have
ask
I always
questions.
have handouts. Always
Ah,
have handouts.
that's good.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. And now May is one that Jan Cole's going to do, and it's going to be on how to write an adequate obituary.
Ah,
Because this is something that I deal with on a daily basis. And I mean daily.
reading an obituary.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because people are wanting obituaries, but they're wanting to know who's
The relatives
who's
are.
left.
Uh-huh,
That's what they're wanting to know.
uh-huh.
And if you've ever read some really long-winded obituaries, like I read one that was a page long, and it just went on and on and on.
And telling about what they did.
Yes, but it wasn't giving, you know.
I never thought about an obituary being of important historical significance, but it is.
It is.
It's a link, isn't it?
Yes, it's proof.
Uh-huh.
And that's what you want to do with your genealogy. You need to make proof. You need to cite each one of these people that you use. When you start doing, like say your father,
Mhm.
when you start doing that, you want to cite where you got the information from,
Mhm.
always. If it was a census, if it was a family Bible, if it was a newspaper, if it was an obituary, you want to cite these. And also on the library website, which is free, and you don't have to join it, is Fold 3, which is military records. Okay. And you can also use Find a Grave. And Find a Grave, a lot of people are putting obituaries on Find a Grave.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they will put detailed obituaries.
Well, we have used that Find a Grave
Okay.
before.
Then it,
Or like if you know the cemetery.
Yes.
Sometimes individual cemeteries have that information like on a
Right.
website too. That we have used, but that Find a Grave, we have used that
See, that's-
for, I can't even remember when it was, but we've done, my husband and I like to go to cemeteries and
I understand
walk
that.
around.
I understand.
I hope you
And
guys
read-
don't find that weird.
Now read the gravestones.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
we did
understand.
that. We've done that a lot. But anyway, that's, that I just never thought about the significance of an obituary.
Yes,
Um,
it's very important.
Wow.
Because it connects, it not only it connects him, the person, but usually it will mention his parents, who predeceased him,
Right.
or who is left, brothers, sisters, and you can connect it that way.
Mhm,
If you run into a wall, that's one way to do it,
mhm.
is to start looking at obituaries and looking at brothers and sisters, because sometimes somebody has done more work and has put it out there for you.
Uh-huh, right. Well, that's a really good point, a really helpful point. So the things that are the resources in the building, the building itself, all of the repairs, all of the updates, the landscaping, everything you were mentioning earlier, it's thanks to the Genealogical Society.
Yes,
And Kristi was awesome enough to bring a membership information form to me. I did ask her for one because I misplaced the one I got in the mail, but it's a really easy to read information sheet. It gives the hours that they're open. It talks about the history. It has information about resources and all these things, the equipment, the memory lab, which we haven't talked about yet. We'll talk about that. And then the information, how you join. And you guys, listen, it's $15 to join for this year for the annual membership. And so that membership money is what goes into the pot that
Yes.
they use to
yes,
for any
Yes.
of those kind of things that they're
Yes.
doing. So this is money well spent. Plus, it gives you access to all of the things
yes,
in the
yes.
library. So as a member of this society, what kinds of things would I have access to that I wouldn't have right now because I haven't joined yet?
Me. That's-
Number one,
that's-
Kristi.
Everything else is free because the Duncan Public Library took it over.
Uh-huh.
But your membership makes sure that we can continue the upgrades, continue buying books, continue the microfilm, continue that I can buy. I need to do some upgrades on our obituary files,
Uh-huh.
things like this. This is so that I can preserve that. This is what the membership is really, really for.
Right. So guys, for $15, you are putting your money into, I'm thinking, our past, present, and future,
Yeah.
all at the same time. And I mean, that's money well spent. I'm going to tell you that's money well spent. So let's talk about the memory lab, because I think that this is a great thing that folks should know about.
The Memory Lab was set up by a grant that we got from the Castle Foundation. And what it is you bring in your memories. Let's say your scrapbooks, your 8mm film, your old VHS home movies, or your Super 8s, or whatever you have.
You even mentioned slides.
Yes, slides. Yes, I
Uh-huh.
forgot about those. The slides, anything you have, anything like that you have. And I have machines that you can digitize these. You can put your 8mm tapes on an SD card, transfer those. You can even edit those if you want to. VHS transfer to DVD. CD and LP records can be transferred to CDs.
Oh, wow.
Cassettes, I'm sorry.
Oh, cassettes.
And LP.
Oh, that is cool. That's
Yes.
a cool one.
That works really well.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else? Oh, DVD to DVD, CD to CD, you can transfer those. The slides, that one you can transfer to a USB stick, transfer to your computer at home,
Mhm.
and that is a really neat little machine. We have the Kick scanner that you can bring in your scrapbooks, download your photos, scan your photos onto the scrapbook, and then take that and transfer it either to your email or a USB stick and take it home and bring up Snapfish and or whichever site you want to use and
Right.
make a book out of it.
Like Shutterfly,
Shutterfly,
Mixbook,
whatever
Snapfish,
you-
any of those.
Whatever
uh-huh,
you want to do, and you can
and
make
build a book
Yeah.
out of those. And if you guys have never built one of those scrapbooks at one of those, on one of those websites, it's super easy.
Yes,
And it's really fun.
and I have copies of those at my library that have been done.
Have been done for examples
Yes.
for how you could do that. And what a great gift to put together one of those books using old
Yes.
photographs.
Christmas is December was a very busy month,
I bet.
so
I bet it was.
the sooner you can
Yeah.
do that,
Plan
please.
ahead.
Yes,
Plan
plan
ahead, people. That's the name of that game. Plan ahead. Well, Kristi, can you think of anything about the Genealogy Society that we haven't touched on?
The society that we have now, the president is Rick Rogers, vice presidents Anthony Sykes, Kyle Collins is our treasurer, and Robert Teague and Tanya Case are representatives. Jan Cole is the liaison between the society and the Duncan Public Library, and Amy Riker at the library, who is the manager right now at the library, and that's what we do.
Uh-huh.
And we're devoted to that library.
Very
So-
nice. So, okay, so the library has a board.
Yes,
The Genealogical Society has a
Yes.
board. So, guys, if those are places you'd like to serve your community, and those are kind of passionate,
Yeah.
you're kind of passionate about those, be sure they get your name. Let them know, because I know what that's like, finding board members. People rotate off and you need someone to come back on, and that's an important thing. And remember, we're going to have some of these here at the Heritage Center. But do people need to come by the library, or can they download this information from your website?
yes, our website, they can use it on the website, and just send, we only take checks or cash, so,
Okay.
and they can send it to the library.
Okay, so
That's the website.
the website, okay, I'm not going to try to read it off because it's a lot of letters, but we will put the website in the comments on our, on this for Facebook. We'll do that here in a little bit. And so if you guys are interested, and we'll also put the address and the phone number and the hours that it's open. But anyway, we're going to have a few of these here at the Heritage Center. So if you come by and you'd like one, I guess we could make another copy of
Yes.
it. If we run out, we'll make some copies and have those. You guys can pick them up here. Stop by and say hi to Kristi sometime at the library, the genealogy library. And guys, let's go dig up some history and see what we can find out. I just think I know it takes time. And it's probably one of those things that you get hooked.
Yes, you do.
And so, yeah, you just go and go and go.
Yes, it will make you crazy, but it's worth it
Right.
in the long. It does make you crazy, and there's some people that say, I just don't know why I started this, and they'll be up late at night and doing it, and you'll be following one lead all the time, and you just keep going and going and going, and then all of a sudden, when you have that one break and you found something you just can't believe. So-
I mean, it sounds like something I could go and do for a long time. I think it sounds fantastic, but you know what? Just take that first step and just check it out and see what you can find. You might be able to just go a couple of generations back and just find something really awesome that, you know, your current family members, people who are still with you, would love to know about their family. So I encourage you, join the society, only $15. Go and visit Kristi. And Kristi, thank you so much.
Thank you
for being
inviting
on
me.
Trail Talk. This was such a great episode. I loved it. I feel like we've really covered
you.
some helpful information, and what a great resource for our community
Thank you.
to have this library here. Thank you for serving there. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, listen, when it's time to sign off of Trail Talk, we always say happy trails together. So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Happy
Happy trails.